Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Never in doubt.
Well, I thought they would win, like they're due a win, and they were sure ticked off by the events early in the game.
Yeah.
And by the way, the referee stuff is going to be my bad thing. We didn't go over that, but
okay. You beat me to it then,
sorry.
David, but I will give you
improvise
support.
You're going to have to do a little.
I'll give you some support when the time comes on that front.
Okay. Yeah, we forgot to talk about. Anyway, Bruce, this is our Two Good Things, Two Bad Things, and Two Numbers podcast. And because it's the Oilers' first win of the 2024-25 season after 3 miserable losses, and there was some doubt about it, we'll go with 2 good things each. How about that?
Sounds good to me. Haven't been enough good things so far this season, to say the least.
They finally look like the Oilers. Anyway, what's your first good thing?
Well, yeah, my first good thing is pushback shown by the Oilers after, frankly, an embarrassing display on Sunday night in which their goalie got hacked to the ice and their 2 superstars both got clobbered into the board by fourth liners from the Flames in a game where Calgary was landing all the big hits and Edmonton wasn't. And it wasn't a good show. Well, tonight it was another incident involving goaltender Stuart Skinner that I'll highlight here, where he got kind of drilled to the ice by Sean Couturier, who there was a defenseman there, and Skinner was a little late moving out of the way, but Couturier just basically went right through him and knocked him down pretty hard. And after what happened last game, they couldn't just let it go by, and who didn't let it go by was Troy Stecher, one of the smallest guys on the team, taking on Sean Couturier, one of the biggest guys on their team, and he just got in there and started, chucking the knuckles. I don't think he landed much of anything, and I don't suppose he even won the fight. The fact is that he initiated the fight. It was like, enough of this shit, and finally some Oiler needed to say that and do it and do something about it. And I have seen that's perhaps the most discouraging thing about the first 3 games was how little pushback there was from the Oil. And tonight, between getting short end of a few calls and they were clearly getting edgier as the game went on. And we saw a few flashes of emotion from other guys like Matthias Ekholm and Corey Perry, who got into a fight right after the Stecher one. But to me, it was Stetcher's sort of closest teammate. I'm going to go after that guy. Enough of this stuff, and let's stand up for a teammate, which is the big part of all this. And the Oilers, if they're going to build this new collection of players into a team, that's one of the things that has to be part of that team, is they got to fight for each other. Not necessarily literally dropping the gloves and throwing punches, as in this case, but they got to have each other's backs. And that's been kind of missing. And tonight it was kind of building through the game, and there was a few cases of I won't call it retribution, but solid hits being landed in return for stuff going on the other way. But I'll highlight Stetcher's immediate response to his goalie getting decked as my first good thing.
Yeah, that was like 6'5" versus 5'6" in the fight, which is just a bit of an exaggeration, but not much.
I think 6'4" and 5'10". It's a big difference.
Yeah, I like Stetcher's overall game.
Mm-hmm.
They promoted him to play with Darnell Nurse. Bruce, I don't know why he wasn't with Nurse in the first game, honestly. The other guys, he was the best of the guys trying out for a position in the preseason, and I didn't think it was honestly that close. He's also a veteran. Dermott's a veteran, but Stecher was with the team last year, best out of training camp. He's a right shot. Why not go with him? So I don't understand that. Didn't happen, but um, so I was glad to see that they went with that in the lineup. But I thought he did really well. He he's not he's not the biggest guy or the fastest guy or the best most skilled guy or even the toughest guy, but he's got some skill and he's
Mm-hmm.
got some toughness
Oh,
and he
he's
can skate a
scrappy
bit.
guy, eh?
He's super scrappy and I
Mm-hmm.
really like that. And I think he's on this team this year, Bruce, as either like I don't know if he's going to stick. I doubt he sticks in the top four with Nurse, but Nurse played his best
Who's
game
better?
of the year with
Yes, with
Stetcher at
stature.
his side,
Yes.
and it wasn't even close. Nurse
Yeah.
looked
No,
like
this
his
was
old self.
easily his best game.
Darnell Nurse looked like the player who earned that contract. Earned. You know, the Oilers thought they needed to give him that amount of money over that term, and at the time I didn't disagree. So that's the player I saw consistently who got that contract, and we haven't seen that player in a while. He played well with Stetcher, and I think just Nurse is a veteran, of course, more veteran than Stetcher. I believe he's played more games than Stetcher, but they're about the same age. And Stetcher, I just think might be the right personality to play with Nurse. We'll see how this works out over time. But I like the call of the coach, and I sure liked Stetcher's play tonight. Emberson, by contrast, who they brought in, is still fighting the puck. He's still nervous with the puck. And he looks like he looks like he can skate and defend, but man, he's got to get over the nerves. He's got the yips,
Yips.
Bruce. He really does. Like I was telling you before the podcast started, he reminds me of my old timers league. I'm always passing it into people's skates. It's just a little bit too fast for me, and I got to get better. So he's got to calm down and get better and start making plays. And I think it's probably psychological. He's probably psyching himself out a bit playing with such a high-powered team. And but just throw it on the guy's stick, not on his skates, and that's half the battle right there. Bruce, my my first good thing will be the second goal, which tied the game at 2. And it actually highlighted some players who I think have been playing well this year in Brown and Skinner, Jeff Skinner. And 2 who came on tonight, Henrique and Nurse. Um, it starts off the Oilers are battling in the offensive zone to keep it in the zone. They've been down 2-0 and they're pouring it on. They're coming on strong. They've scored 1 goal and beautiful backhand shot by Henrique, and they're coming on. They're putting pressure on, and Henrique makes kind of he half wins a battle up and prevents a super solid clear out of the zone, and Nurse makes a fantastic play knocking the puck out of the air at the blue line, keeping it in, getting it to Skinner, sure-handed Skinner, who puts it over to Connor Brown, who in his 4th game of the season, not his 400th game, whatever it was last year, he scores a goal, and it's what a relief that is. Like Connor Brown can score
Mm-hmm.
15 or 20 goals this year, and the Oilers are going to probably need him to score that many goals this year. He's going to be in a third line role, maybe even higher as the season goes along. And man, did he just got that off. He got the shot off quickly before the goalie was set, and he beat the goalie on a one-timer. It was a beautiful goal. It was a much needed goal. And
Yeah.
4 veteran players combined on it
Mm-hmm.
Henry, who need to come through for the Oilers this year. And it was funny because just heading into the game, I was thinking, did the Oilers make a huge mistake in keeping Henrique over McLeod? And that thought had not occurred to me until today. And I was just thinking about, all these different signings and how they
Missing
aligned.
speed.
Yeah,
Always
they're missing
missing speed.
speed.
And that's one uh, consequence of taking Henrique over McLeod, because all the nice things that we can say about Adam Henrique, which would be several things, blazing speed would not be one of those things. Whereas with Ryan McLeod, it is the first thing.
Yeah. He is a finisher around the net, Henrique, but we hadn't
Oh,
seen it, right?
he's a consummate pro, as they like to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, he has to play well, but he hadn't, like, at least in the last game or in the last couple of games, I didn't think he had played that well. And I think in the first game he did, but he he's got to come through. And
Yep.
where they miss McLeod, I think primarily is transporting the puck out of his own zone, which is a huge part of defensive hockey. In some ways, the most underrated part of defensive hockey for a center is the ability to get the puck deep in the defensive zone and carry it out yourself. McDavid's really good at it, and McLeod it also excelled at that.
Yes,
and it was so it's not something Henrique can do. He just doesn't have that speed. So he's got to come through on the scoreboard, and he did on the first goal, and he helped on this goal where he made a play on the boards.
Yeah, it was nice to see Henrique and Brown both score. Janmark get an assist. Those guys, they're not going to score every game, but they need to score once in a while.
Yeah.
And at a time where Edmonton's first, top scoring guys have been kind of mired in the sand out of the gate, to get back in this game, it was, essential. They got to find scoring somewhere. It turned out to be down the lineup. And finally, the big guys came through. This is going to be my second good thing, is the second tying goal. It made it 3-3 late in the third.
Hey, Bruce, before you get there,
yeah.
I just want to one final thought on the Couturier-Stetcher fight.
Oh, right. Okay.
I just want to go back to that for a second because I think Couturier laid off on that fight initially. And he wasn't going to fight him at all until Stetcher started just burrowing in and throwing them. And then Couturier thought, okay. But it was funny because for the first 5 seconds of the fight, Couturier was just content to hold him off and say, yeah, nothing's going to happen here.
But Stetcher forced your goalie. Come on, settle down, son.
Yeah, and you've done your thing. You've thrown down your gloves with the great big knee, and you've shown your toughness and your courage. But Stetcher would not have that. He's going to try to punch him in the face, and he did actually a few times with jabs. So, and they were lucky in the ensuing. I thought they were lucky in the ensuing one, Bruce, not for Perry not to get a penalty for taking off that other guy's helmet.
Oh, yeah. There's a rule against that.
There is a rule against that, and I think Perry did it deliberately.
The Nazem Kadri rule. I remember doing it to Darnell Nurse in overtime and winning a game for Colorado against Edmonton. It's a memory that enrages me about 3 years after it happened.
Could have easily got it. The crowd would have gone nuts, of course, if that had happened with what happened earlier with the refs. Okay, sorry for interrupting you on the.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I was really just getting going.
All right,
yeah, during the last TV time out of the third period, and I was saying to my wife, these big guys, McDavid and Draisaitl, they just haven't produced anything. And tonight they put them together to try and get them going, and they played a whole game together as a line, just nothing to show for it. It's time. They got to produce something down the stretch for the Oilers to pull this game out. Well, guess they were listening, because they sure did produce on the 3-3 goal, and a beautiful play, but a beautiful long sequence where Philly just couldn't get the puck out of their zone. Yeah. And this is the hallmark of the big unit performance of Bouchard and Ekholm with McDavid, Hyman, and either Nugent Hopkins or Draisaitl, depending on how they line them up. Is they're very strong on the cycle and on the puck recovery game. I mean, most of these guys do the same things on the power play. But Philly couldn't get it out. It took a while for sort of the real dangerous play to develop, but eventually it was Ekholm who came around the top of the zone with the puck and dropped it off for McDavid at the just inside the blue line along the right wing boards. And McDavid picked it up with a little bit of speed, and he chunked it ahead of Draisaitl in the corner, and Leon pulled a Leon and did the old spinorama backhand pass right back onto the tape of McDavid. Now he's in the slot, nobody close to him, and McDavid in the slot is a dangerous thing, and he just almost instantly he found the open man on the far side, Evan Bouchard, sliding in off the point. And McDavid quickly fed that pass over to Bouchard, who slammed it into the net. And all of a sudden, really, you've got Edmonton's three key offensive players. To me, those three are the key, even more than Hyman or it's McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard. And for Bouchard, it was his first point of the season. And for Draisaitl is second, McDavid is third. But the three of them together clicking like that, that was a first. We haven't seen any of that up until now, at least not that lit the lamp. And at a very fabulous time with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third period. So not quite goalie pull time, but getting uncomfortably close to that. It had been sitting at 3-2 for a long time, and they needed some kind of game-breaking play, and their game breakers delivered it. And hats off to all five guys, frankly, involved in that cycle. It was a team effort and some fabulous skill at the end of it. A real highlight, real tally to pull this game out of the fire.
Your number isn't Bouchard shots total, is it?
No.
Okay,
I
I'll tell you.
I found a different number. So
I'll tell you it now. It was one of those nights where I think he was going to get some flack again for like having so many shots blocked, because he directed 14 shots at net and only 3 of them hit. He had 9 blocked and 2 missed shots. So, but man, did he ever
miss that one?
Did he ever get that when he needed to? That was just spectacular. What a shot.
He hit the net early in the game, and of course it was called back for goalie interference. Let's not forget that. But he had 9 more shots blocked. And now after 4 games, Bouchard's had 28 shots blocked. 28 shots blocked. 28 shots blocked. He has 7 shots on net. 28 shots blocked. Like, I can't get over it. 28.
I still like it when he shoots on the power play, because he hurts guys like Hathaway. Like they'll block him once, but they're not going to block him twice.
Yeah,
and it breaks down.
Will Hyman go in front of the net again after getting hit in the can?
Oh. Yeah, is that where he got hit?
All right. Yeah, right in the blue paint.
Right in the Matt Hendricks.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If for people who don't know that reference, there was a famous Matt Hendricks shot block, and they showed his can. It was a Calder Cup, sometimes called a Jock, and it was dented from the slap shot he had taken.
It had a wicket.
It was bashed right in. So, all right, Bruce, my second good thing is the overtime goal, and it was a fascinating goal. So first, McDavid, the Oilers are charging into the offensive zone, and McDavid gives away the puck. And by the way, the grade A shots in this game were 21 for the Oilers, 16 for the Flyers, with the subset of 5 alarm shots, 9 to 7 for the Oilers. So anyway, McDavid's
Flyers
going in.
Put up a good game, didn't they?
They sure did. They're a good. They're not a bad team. They've got some talent. Mishkov looked good too. So McDavid came in. He gave away the puck, and then it's he gets beat on the break in. Who was it? Was it Konechny who broke down the wing past him? Yeah. Anyway,
he turned the wrong way.
McDavid's no defenseman, right? He needed to skate back fast, and he was kind of cruising at center ice a little bit, thinking I got this, and then he didn't have it, of course, and the guy was around him with the puck, and went in, and I think he missed the net. Like he tried to cut in between cut in from the wing around McDavid. McDavid got a bit of stick on him, not much, and I don't think it was a penalty. I don't think McDavid's play was a penalty, and the Flyer player, after his shot was off balance and fell onto the boards, I don't think McDavid tripped him. I think he just went in hard and he lost his balance trying to score and he fell down. But there was 2 other Flyers creeping in then as well. And the real play, the real sneaky play, and I don't even know if it was on purpose, but one of the Flyers in position to get back maybe and stop the breakaway that McDavid's about to go on. But Bouchard gets in his way and blocks him. And it could have just been 2 players colliding, or it could have been a really cagey really smart move by Bouchard blocking him. And I think it was partly that. And I don't know if the Flyers were in an uproar because they thought McDavid tripped or Bouchard blocked, or maybe both. But Bouchard, and I don't think he got away with one, because I think it was within the flow of play. Bouchard's allowed his spot on the ice. He was moving there.
They just collided.
They just collided. Yeah, they just collided. That's hockey. So that was great. I don't think and it was funny because it looked like McDavid was a little bit sheepish on the breakaway at first. He didn't take off. He didn't rocket forward. He thought, It's like he was looking to see, am I going to get a penalty or so I'm going to get a penalty? Is this on? Is this happening?
Can I
And it
really have
was
this
happening.
long of a breakaway from like 20 feet in front of
Yeah,
my own goal line?
where is everybody? It was uncustomarily slow for McDavid developing
Mhm.
because he didn't take off like a rocket. He just kind of coasted for a second, and then he took off after that. So he goes in, he tries his breakaway move. It wasn't a particularly great breakaway move. I didn't think he went to the backhand, didn't score, but the puck went in the corner, and the Flyers still haven't recovered because Bouchard's moving to the slot and Draisaitl's coming in late to the slot. McDavid feeds him the puck. Draisaitl makes a little slight hesitation, and it's just there's no one you would rather see shooting that puck in that moment than Leon Draisaitl. Although Matvey Mishkov sure had a nice goal earlier on. But anyway, Draisaitl put it in pretty much off the post above the goalie's pad. It was a beautiful goal by Leon Draisaitl to win the game, and huge relief and joy, and joy in oil country, because instead of being
Mhm.
down 0-4, which it looked like it
Oh,
was going to
it's
be,
big.
that tying goal was 3:42 left in the third period. The Oilers get a win. They're 1-3. They just got to win a couple games and they're at 500, and all systems go.
It's still a stinky homestand, but it's a huge difference between 1-3 and 0-4. Like you can't,
Oh, jeez, yeah,
and they got something to build on. They got, not just the win, but how they got the win and how they, I thought, pulled together and sort of fought for that win, literally and figuratively. And
they look like the Oilers for the first time since the
yeah,
playoffs.
absolutely.
They From the second period on. The first period they stunk.
Yeah,
Honestly, they were sleepwalking in the first period. That
that would be
McDavid
my bad
Draisaitl
thing.
line was was wretched. It was just like everything was going
uh,
wrong in that period,
well,
and it was including their play, and it didn't
yeah,
look like anything had changed. But
yeah,
then it all changed. All right, Bruce,
yeah.
bad things. What's your
Yeah,
bad
well,
thing?
I'm going to have to go with that first period, and they had one or two chances in the early going, but just yeah, one very early, and then there was a decent shot by Ryan, I think it was, and then
That
there
was
was
yeah.
then there was uh, they ran into penalty trouble and got burned twice for power play goals just after Jack Michaels said Philly was 32nd in the league in the power play last year, and in fact, the last 3 years, their worst power play in the league. And of course, within what 10 seconds, it was in the net. It was like the same sequence, and it was in the net. And we're gonna discuss in some more detail. That was one
Yeah.
where Mitchkov kind of shoved the puck over the goal line, and discussion ensued. But it was kind of sloppy that he even got the chance to do that.
Yeah, it was.
And the coverage was a little bit sloppy on the second power play goal as well, also scored by Mitchkov. Although it was a beautiful passing play once they got it open, but Oilers' inability to clear the puck. I think Brown had a chance. I think Ekholm had a
Yeah.
chance, and
Yeah.
they couldn't clear it out. And then Philly just went tic tac toe, and Mitchkov buried that one. But there was just more. What was annoying me as a fan was the team just didn't seem to be in sync at all,
No.
and they
Yeah.
didn't seem to be, like responsive to, like I'm sort of going hit somebody, right? That's my kind of natural reaction. And Janmark nailed one guy beside the net. I like that, but there was it took a while for them to join the battle, but when they joined it, they did join it. But that first period was not a pretty picture.
Yeah, yeah. Mark also hit someone on that second shorthanded goal out by the blue line
Oh
and kind
yeah,
of took
yeah,
himself out of the
he
play a little
did.
bit.
He did.
He
Yeah,
drilled the guy into the boards. Yeah, Bruce. So
yeah.
at the end of the first period, I was upset in large part because the Oilers look so bad, but the referees, like Perry gets a ticky-tack slashing foul, and then the stick is knocked out of Ekholm's hand into the rafters, and there's no penalty. Like there seemed to be some inconsistency, but it was mainly like the goals, the Mishkov goal, which allowed to count, and then the Hyman goal, which was called back. And I guess if both have been called back, I wouldn't be saying a thing. But
Right.
that Mishkov goal, I don't know, it seemed like Skinner had it covered.
Hmm.
And I could be incorrect about this. Maybe there's some angle, or maybe you can't tell, but maybe the puck was always loose, and I'm unaware of this. But it seemed like Skinner had the puck covered, and the puck went in because Mishkov rammed his stick into Skinner's skate and put the puck
Pushed
in
his
that
pad
way.
out,
Pushed his
his
pad or his
skate away
skate.
from the post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gave it the
Puck
old
went.
Ryan Kessler, and it goes in the net. And and how can that be a goal? You're not allowed to touch the goalie, and you actually essentially you push him back into the net with the puck, and that's how you score. Now, I can't say that I'm 100% sure that's exactly what happened, but
Right.
that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like happened. And how can that be a goal? Hyman, his skates are never in the crease. His butt is breaking the plane of the crease, but he never does make contact with the goalie.
I thought the
There's
D man hit the goalie myself.
Yeah,
The Philly
there's
D man.
never any contact between Hyman and the goalie, although Hyman is breaking the plane of the crease and Bouchard gets a pass and puts it in the net on the other side. If you're going to call that back, how can you not call back Mishkov's goal where he's ramming into the goalie who's got the puck covered and he's pushing the goalie into that and the puck? Like that's goalie interference is every bit as much as Hyman's play, which was super marginal. And
Right.
like I thought Perry, the call against Perry the other night was correct. Perry was right in the crease, and
By the
I think,
letter of the law, yeah, and apparently they're trying to go by the letter of the law this year and
but
take down as many goals as they can, except the Mitchkov
yeah,
one,
well,
which
they're
is
going to
kind of
have to
silly.
look at the Oilers are going to have to look at screening the goalie from a foot out from where they are right now, not being at the edge of the crease, but being 1 foot away from that. I think they're just going to have to be or 6 inches, and make that their practice, because what they did last year is apparently not going to be allowed this year because Hyman was always right on the edge of the crease. Not That's how he knew where he could be. He was always there, and he got a few called back last year, but I didn't really complain. This one though was super marginal, and especially after the Mishkov play,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, yeah, they got a goal that's awarded after a challenge, and then Edmonton scores one right after, and the refs call it right away. And just, I thought the D man was the guy who actually caught the goalie, who was staying with Hyman. That's what it appeared like.
Mm-hmm.
The Mitchkov goal. Uh, if you really want to get annoyed, watch the Vancouver Tampa Bay highlights from tonight. And there was a goal scored in that game by Tampa where it looked like the exact same thing. The goalie had the puck under his pad, and the forward just jammed and jammed and moved the goalie's pad, and the puck went in. And they had a review, and that one they said no goal. I was like, isn't it the same thing? Like, what's the rule here? Come on, NHL, same war room, two different calls.
Maybe the puck was loose and we couldn't, like, maybe you can't tell where the puck is with Mishkov. I don't know, Bruce, but it seemed like Skinner had his.
The ref whistled it, and then they later awarded the goal because it got challenged by Philly. And then it got challenged by Edmonton for goalie interference. I mean, Philly was right. The puck was in the net. That was what they were
Yeah.
challenging. And Edmonton challenged for him being, pushed off his post. And I thought Edmonton was right and they were going to win the challenge, but no such luck. Anyway, couple those two goalie interference calls, both going against Edmonton, with the endless stream of cheesy penalties against the Oilers in the first period. I think they had 4 penalties, and a couple of them, and like you say, the one where Ekholm's stick got chopped up into the rafters, and somehow they don't see that, but they see the slightest stick tap. Who else? Who
From
else was
Perry,
it?
that was
Perry.
ridiculous.
The
Perry's penalty
the
was
one on Perry.
ridiculous.
Atrocious call. Like, all he did was stop the guy up. I
It's
mean,
just a
technically, I guess it's not legal, but I mean, stick on body contact happens all the time in hockey. I mean,
Yeah,
you're going to call that in the neutral zone? The guy's going to the bench and he just kind of gives him a little touch with his stick. I mean, come on. I said at the
ridiculous.
time, the refs are getting even with Perry after all of his many years of diplomatic immunity in Anaheim. And now they go, oh, we're in Edmonton now. Hey, well, we know how to deal with that then. So
Uh, Not good.
it's
Bruce,
me being a paranoid fan, but I don't remember Perry getting too many calls like that as a Duck. I really don't.
just imagine if they had called it like that in the 2017 playoffs against Anaheim. I mean,
They
Anaheim would
would
have
have
had
had
no players left.
3,000 penalties. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce, your number.
Oh, yeah. My number is ice time, specifically for the defenders, and I think a pattern is starting to emerge here. Uh, Looks like the coaching staff has identified three defensemen that they're going to use a lot, and three defensemen or four defensemen, of which three will play, who won't play so much. And this is two games now. In Calgary the other night against Calgary, uh, Ekholm played 26 minutes, Bouchard 24 and change, Nurse 21 and a half, and all the other guys were under 17 minutes. Dermott and Kulak just 15, Stetcher just 15. That was in Sunday's game. So tonight, kind of the same thing. 25:56 for Ekholm. So again, let's call it 26 minutes like Sunday, uh, including 8:30 on the penalty kill. This is part of what contributed to that. 24 and change for Bouchard, including 6:12 on the power play. And Nurse played 23 and a half minutes tonight, including 7:10 on the penalty kill. He and Ekholm were the primary PKers. And then you drop down to Kulak at 16 minutes and change, Stetcher at 14:43, and then Emberson way down at 10 minutes and 21 seconds. So in both games, we have kind of a 5-minute gap between number 3 and number 4. In terms of they got three guys way over 20 minutes and then three guys way under 20 minutes. So even the second pairing where you kind of think they should have close to the same minutes, but in part because so many penalties in this game, and they just didn't use everybody equally on the PK at all. Bouchard had one shift and took a penalty that put him 2 men short, and Stetcher and Emberson each played a couple of minutes. Kulak 3. But again, it was Ekholm playing 8.5 minutes of the 11, just under 12 minutes. The Oilers were short, so Ekholm was 70% of the penalty kill. He was out,
and Nurse was at 7:10.
Yeah,
they're kind of short. They don't really trust Emberson, Stetcher so much on the kill, and then Bouchard was out there and he gave up a breakaway, didn't he? And he took a penalty.
He did, and took a penalty. Yeah.
So they were kind of in tough. Kulak they trust a bit on the PK.
Yeah, well, he's not a good PKer, and
no, he's not like
been screening the goalie without blocking
he's
shots.
got to figure it out. Maybe he'll get better at it. Like he should. Like he's as good a player as Cody Ceci, I think. Maybe not in terms of thinking the game defensively, though. Maybe not. Like he's a different player. He skates well and moves the puck well, better than Ceci. But Ceci was such a smart hockey player. It's funny the
good penalty killer.
The reputation
Kulak
of
has always been kind of an extra on the PK. Him and Bouchard have been the extras.
Yeah,
but no Ceci, no Desharnais, and all of a sudden you've got, so they're really leaning on Ekholm and Nurse in that scenario. And Nurse, to his credit, he had a good game. So
Ceci's reputation's going up in Edmonton, Bruce. He's getting more. People are starting to realize. Yeah, well, we always liked him fine. I think that's we were down on his pairing with Nurse. I think justifiably because that just was horrible. But that was more on Nurse than Ceci. It became apparent to everybody by the end of the playoffs. So Cody Ceci is missed.
He was a 20-minute defender everywhere, Ottawa, Toronto, and here in Edmonton. He averaged over 20 minutes all 3 years he was here. And he was a number 4, and that's all he was a number 4. But he was a number 4, which Oilers no longer have. All the guys that they brought in to replace him were, 15, 16, 18-minute-a-night players last year.
Yeah.
And, Ceci, he made $3.25 million on the last year of his contract they traded out. Well, you could say they used that money to bring in Emerson at 950 and Stetcher at 787.5 and Dermott at 775 and Josh Brown at 1 million. You add them up, it's 3.5, basically the same money that Cody Ceci made. But here's the problem: you can only use one of them at a time, right? You got four, but only one of them on the ice is out there, replacing Cody Ceci. Where in his case, you were sort of investing in the guy who was out there. So sometimes, you can replace in numbers, but you always have to keep in mind you're only allowed to put 6 on the ice.
Yeah, although
Or
not all
5 or
four,
4 with these refs.
not all four are on the cap at any one time, like
No,
CC
that's right.
was.
But I mean, basically that's how they were able to bulk up their roster, was they were able to divide that money out into several lesser defensemen.
Yeah. Bruce, my number, Leon Draisaitl had quite a night. For a long time, I was thinking he might be my bad thing because he had some of his usual lapses on defense. He was not getting much done on the attack, and he was part of the problem on the power play. He's just not sharp early on the power play, I didn't think.
Hit the post.
And he took a really bad penalty at the end of the second period that could have sunk the Oilers.
In a row, same time of the game.
Just a cross-check, just a useless cross-checking penalty. No need to take it. Could have hurt the Oilers. They go under the third period. They got to kill off 2 minutes. But I was thinking, you know what? This is Leon Draisaitl, and he could do something that can make him a star of the game. And of course, a great pass and a great shot later, and he's one of the stars of the game. So he had a goal and assist, 2 points. 23 minutes he played, 23:01, second only to Connor McDavid for forwards. He was tied for the lead with 5 shots on net with Adam Henrique. And Bruce, he was 10 for 3 in the face-off circle, 77%. Easily the best.
Back same Sunday, 10
best Oilers face-off guy. So he's a fascinating, intriguing hockey player, Leon Draisaitl. And he can sure make some great plays. He's got to, though, because he makes some bad ones too.
That spinorama pass that he made on the tying goal, he tries that regularly, and they don't always click. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't click so badly they go the other way in a hurry. But when they work, it's impossible to stop it. Big guy, doing the whirling dervish thing and firing a bullet pass off that paddle of his, and in this case to McDavid. And good things ensued. He was, in fact, David, the first star of this game.
There you go.
I didn't see it coming with 10 minutes left either, but he did deliver the goods in the crunch.
Do you think we'll see him with McDavid again next game? Because they didn't play that well together.
I didn't really think so. Well, they
did get the winning goal, though. So there you go.
They dominated possession 5-on-5. It was
they did, eh?
Yeah, Corsi 18-8 for McDavid, 16-8 for Draisaitl, and they had the lion's share of the shots, scoring chances. Both guys for expected goals were in the range of 65%, which is excellent.
Hyman is also struggling. Like, he's not making plays with the puck.
He's got no points.
He's like a plumber with the puck again. Like, he's not making plays. He's having trouble with it. He's just not sharp at all. So, maybe they'll put Skinner with Draisaitl and McDavid or something like that. But some other winger or Arvidsson, because
it'll
Hyman,
come. I think Hyman understands the gig, and he gets into good places. Often will give room for the other guys. That he occupies guys, including the goalie, on the edge of the crease enough that there's room to make plays behind him. But yeah, he needs to get going. I mean, no goals, no points. So hopefully it'll come. He looks older to me this year. He suddenly looks like an older player than
that's always the fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's always because he is not young. He's, what is he, 33, 32, 33 now?
He's in that range. Yeah.
Let's just Google that.
Can you do it?
Yeah. Next game, Bruce?
Next game is Thursday night, and it's at Nashville, I think, is it?
Yeah, it's a 6 o'clock. It's an earlier game.
And then they're off to Dallas on Saturday afternoon. So it's quite a compressed.
Zach Hyman. Why isn't it telling me how old he is here? This is Hockey Reference.
Yeah, just click on bio, more information. For some reason I suppressed that now.
Can't even find it on their page.
All right. Well, Oilers roster on Oilers site says Hyman is June of 92. So yeah, he's 32 years old. Turned 32.
Okay, so he's
in the
30, just
playoffs.
32 this whole season, essentially.
Yeah.
So power forwards can fall off, but he looks like he was going strong last year. I'm not that worried, but he does look older this year. He's just not sharp.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
So Nashville Thursday, at Dallas Saturday afternoon, probably a day off Sunday, and then they don't play until Tuesday. So finally they got sort of 2 days off between games after the Dallas game. So they need to get, it's a 2-game road trip against 2 tough playoff teams in the West, and they got to get some results, right?
They got to get 2 points on this.
They got to get at least 1 win out of the 2 games.
Yeah, I agree.
My take.
Yeah.
At least 1 win.
Alrighty, Bruce. Let's leave it there for tonight. Thank you for talking.
They're on the right path compared to where they were, David. So anyway, thank you for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.